Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube page, Bum to Baby to Mom. So today I'm gonna be talking to you guys about something that a lot of people ask me about, a lot of people talk to me about, and some just really want to know how I did it. I'm gonna be talking about sleep training. Now, this is something that I didn't professionally get training for, so remember that I'm going to be talking from my personal experience, and this may work for others and not necessarily for others. So, okay, so currently my daughter is 14 months, but she started sleeping in her own room at about 7 months. This was a decision that both me and my husband decided on. And if I'm being honest, I think it was the best decision for us as a couple, because we're all different. And yeah, that's just how it is. So I don't know if you watched my previous videos about my birth story, but you'd remember that I gave birth at my mother's place and we didn't have her stuff set up there. We only had her crib and everything set up at our own place. So after I gave birth and I was discharged from the hospital, I went to my mom's place and I had to sleep with Ariela for I think about 2, 3 nights before we came back to our place. During that time, obviously, it was I had to, and I honestly think that whole overwhelming feeling of bringing a child home and having this human being with you was just overtaking everything else. And to be honest, I was not thinking of sleep training. One thing I do know that I was excited about was putting it in a crib because we had a friend that gave us a crib, and I was super excited to start getting my child sleeping in there. So when we moved to our place now and everything was settled, actually on the first night, we let her sleep in her own crib, and yeah, my husband and I slept together. So I find that with some of the people that I speak about the whole sleep training thing with, they are like, nah, but then look, the whole breastfeeding and actually just feeding the child, it becomes a little bit hectic when the child is sleeping on their own and they're in their own bed and you have to wake up and everything. And I totally get that. I understand. But I felt that in a way I have a very supportive partner, and that made a lot of things easier for me. So I was breastfeeding exclusively for 5, 6 months, but I think it was like around just before 6 months, and I had to pump milk. Luckily, I had a good supply of milk, so I could afford to actually pump the milk, store it, and then in the night, my husband would wake up and warm the milk up and feed the baby. So this gave me a chance to rest and also a chance for him to just bond with his child. So the crib that we had, it was one of those that has one side that collapses and you join it with your bed so that you can co-sleep and stuff, but the child being in their own crib. So my husband and I decided, you know what? Okay, him more. He didn't want the whole burden of the child crying at night to be on me. So we decided, you know what, let's put the crib at the base of our bed so that we both have access to the child. So we had to move our heads to the base of the bed so that, we are closer to the child. And yeah, that made life a lot easier. And at that point, I didn't think about it, but hey, supportive partner, guys. So, one of the things that really motivated us to consider this whole sleep training and independent sleeping for our daughter was that we didn't want that whole situation of having a child to be a factor in our marriage. Like, how can I put it? We didn't want a child to change how me and my husband are with each other. We wanted to stay close to each other and we wanted us to connect and just, be together, irrespective of the fact that there's now a child. And that's one of the things that I personally have seen with other people, with other couples, and it's something that I really didn't want for my husband and I. We saw that a lot of couples, they change towards each other, and just because now there's a child, there is a person in between them. And we honestly didn't want that. We just wanted us to be able to talk in bed, to be able to just, cuddle or something. So that is one of the things, honestly, that we thought about early on before the whole thing. And to be honest, it wasn't the easiest thing, because sometimes you really are tired, or there were days when I didn't pump milk. Maybe I was tired, or I just thought there was enough milk. And you'd find that I have to wake up and breastfeed. Now, it wasn't easy. Like, I remember just crying in my sleep, like, God, why? And that time I was still healing from my C-section scar and everything. But I thought, you know what? In the long run, I am not going to be fighting for space with my husband at night with this child. So let's just do this. Let's just, yeah, enjoy and see how it goes. And to be honest, it really served us in a good way. And if I can preach to every new parent out there, I'll tell them, you know what, start as early as possible, start as early as you can, so that you're not breaking habits after you've created them. And one thing I've also seen with these kids is that they don't like change. They don't like, certain routines to be changed. A lot of routines, actually. And them being comfortable in a certain routine makes your life a lot easier. So, yeah. um, there were times when I would feel guilty about, because of course you've got different friends, different family members, different people on the internet that are like, oh, you know what, co-sleeping with your child, it builds this bond. And I did think about it a lot, and I did feel guilty at some point that I'm not cuddling my child enough. I am not, I don't know what's the word, but it just felt like maybe these people are right. And maybe I'm depriving my child of that bond with a mom. But as I moved along my motherhood journey, I realized that parents are different, and the way that we we take things in and the way that we understand things is different, and we are all different emotional beings. So in a way, I feel like I am that kind of person, that I'm the kind of mom that loves my child so much, but I also want them to be there on their own. And yeah, I'm not sure how to explain it, but I don't want too much of the whole contact. I love it. I do. Trust me. In the day and everything, yes. But you tend to get overtouched. You tend to get overstimulated, and you just really want that time to. It's just me. It's just, me and my husband, or it's just really myself again. I mean, you spend 9 months with this person inside your body, and you also really just want some time in your own body. And that's just my take. It's my personal take. Again, I'm not aiming at anybody. And if you feel that having your child with you during the night and attending to their every need right there, right now is for you, then okay, so where was I was on, by all means, if the whole close contact, close sleeping thing is for you, by all means, go for it. But personally, I just felt, phew, I would not be able to. I would just be overstimulated, and I'm with this child throughout the day and at night. So I felt now it was just going to be so much for me. Okay, so I think Ella started sleeping throughout the night around 3 months. Around, yeah, 3 months, after 2 months, because I remember the first two and a half months were hectic. And Yeah, I think every mom can tell you, every parent can tell you that the newborn stage is just horrible. You don't know what you're getting yourself into until you're like in the deep of it. And sure, I remember the first time that she slept throughout the night. I was like, is there something wrong with this child? Is she breathing? You know, but yeah, no, it felt really nice. And eventually it started getting better and better. Her sleep really started coming through around 3 months, 2.5, 3 months. And I was just so grateful to God for that because I had just had it. And then after 6 months, I remember we thought, no man, this baby, she was starting to do this thing of she gets up and she literally, because by 6 months she was already starting to crawl, and yeah, she was crawling outside of a crib, right? So there's our bed and there's a crib. So she would crawl out of the bed after she wakes up and goes onto her bed, or like grabs on my foot or something. Or if that day I have my head on the other side, I just feel something on my head and I'm like, mm-mm. This is just not going on. And she's just the kind of child whereby she gets up, she does not scream right away. She starts evaluating her surroundings and taking it all in. That she definitely took from me. So it just felt a little bit icky, like, nah. So we decided it was time for you to go to your own room, and it was a big decision, but at the end of the day we found that we had to do it. And we don't want a situation whereby this child gets up and maybe I'm not in the room, maybe my husband is not in the room, she crawls out of a crib and she falls from the bed. So that was also one of the safety measures that we had to think about. I remember the excitement of getting her in her own nursery. Now, look, our nursery, we didn't have that whole, get the whole big thing, decorate the room and what. We did the minimum. We did what we could at the time. And I actually really like it, the minimalistic look of it. And yeah, I was like, whatever. And up until now, we still use my massage bed for the whole, yeah. And up until now, I still can't find a proper working place for the diaper changes and stuff that I actually really like. That is got the perfect height is that massage bed. So yeah. So I remember it was a Friday because I decided I'm not going to be dealing with this on my own, because my husband, he really wakes up early to go to work, and sometimes I feel so bad for him when he has to take care of the child at night, so I just chip in. So I was like, let's do this on a Friday night so that we are together in this Saturday night and Sunday night. So hopefully by Monday she's good. Man, the first night was not as easy as, okay, I knew it was not going to be easy, but I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. She did realize that this is a different setting, it's a different room, and she was not having it. She was screaming and crying, and I remember just going in there and trying to soothe her. I would take her out, but stay in the room and just comfort her and put her back in the crib. I remember at some point my husband was like, let's just take her back in the bedroom. And I was like, I am not having this whole hassle of taking her out, bringing her back in, taking her out again. So we are suffering through this the whole weekend or something, or however long it's gonna take. Um, oh, we didn't sleep well that night, and I just remember thinking to myself, what if my husband is right? What if we just take her back in and we can all have a nice sleep? But by Sunday night, she was much better, and I feel that the fact that she was already in a familiar place, her crib, and that sort of gave her comfort. Of course, now the other side was high up, because remember, the one side we had it collapsed so that it's level with our bed. So I feel that she felt a little bit uncomfortable with that, but after 2 nights, she was well, and eventually everybody was sleeping well. And I remember I was also very nervous about what if I don't hear her? What if my husband doesn't hear her? But hey, I think everything just worked out for itself at the end, and her room is like right next to our bedroom, so it wasn't going to be that bad. But for the first few nights we did sleep with her door open, with our bedroom door open, so that just in case, but no, it really went well. Okay, so one of the other downsides of having your child getting used to sleeping on their own is that when you travel, it becomes a bit hectic, especially if you go to family members' places, friends' places, different places, because you can't sleep with the child in your own bed. The child is a little bit, what is happening, and yourself, you're just not really used to that. So one of the things that I suggest, or one of the things that worked for us, was buying a camp cot. So this way we knew that when we go anywhere to sleep, we can just carry the camp cot and set it up. Or even when she sleeps over, so far she's slept over for like 2 nights, and yeah, I'll talk about that some other time. But just having the camcorder really helped, because the child still knows that I sleep in my own space, and this is my, that it just makes life a lot easier. So I highly suggest that you invest in a camcorder if you like thinking of this route of independent sleeping with your child. Okay, so for the last part, I'm just going to give you guys some of the tips that can help you if you are thinking of going with this route. Now, the first thing you want to make sure is you want to start as early as possible. Start as early as you can, so that you know that the child is not used to too many schedules, too many routines, or a certain habit that they used to. So personally, I started like before the child even turned 1 month, by the way. So as early as you can start, so that you reinforce these things as the child grows. The second thing that I would give you as an advice would be to stick to your schedules. Babies, like I said, they don't like change. This is one thing I've noticed with my child and some other children that I have seen around from my friends and stuff. Babies don't like change. They are comfortable in a certain situation. They want it to stay that way for as long as possible. So try as much as you can for yourself as well to stick to what you have decided to do. The third advice that I would give you would be routine. Try to stick to a certain routine and be strict about bedtime. If you really want your child to know this is bedtime, to know that this is the place that I sleep, and I'm expected to sleep here, try to develop a routine. This will help you in the long run, and your partner as well will really be thankful for it in the long run. And then lastly, I would I would advise you to invest in a camp cot. This is one of the things that really helped us in the situation whereby our child is used to sleeping on their own. And I hope this helps you as well. And good luck with trying to get the child to sleep on their own. It's going to be a bit hectic, but you've got this. Thank you for watching. Bye.